Sri Gauranga and Sri Nityananda, Mercy of Gaura And Nitai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaura, and Sri Nityananda Prabhu Nitai are none other than Lord Krishna and Balarama. Both of them appeared in the land of Gauda, West Bengal, to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and bestow benediction upon everyone. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also known as Gaurang. It is said that the complexion of his body is radiant like molten gold. He appeared in Sri Dhama, Mayapur, a quarter in the city of Navadvipa in Bengal, as the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra and Srimati Sachidevi. He inaugurated the Sankirtan movement and encouraged congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Nityananda Prabhu, an eternal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, appeared at the same time in Ekachakra Dhama to assist the Lord in his mission of propagating the Yuga Dharma. Vaishnava Acharyas empathetically state that people who try to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without getting the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu will never succeed, and one must pray very sincerely to Lord Nityananda Prabhu as the Adi Guru, original spiritual master, to be delivered to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu was born and raised in the village of Ekachakra in Bengal as the son of Padmavati and Hadai Pandita. He only stayed at home until the age of 12 years. When a sannyasi came to the house of Hadai Pandita, begging to have the Pandita's son as his brahmachari assistant, Hadai Pandita immediately agreed and delivered his son to him. Although the separation was greatly shocking, so much so that Hadai lost his life after the separation. Traveling with the sannyasi, Nityanand wandered to all the major holy places of pilgrimage, behaving like an Avadhuta, a divine madman. During this time, he knew that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was busy sporting his own childhood pastimes and had not yet revealed his true identity. It is said that for many days he lived at Mathura with the sannyasi, and at that time he heard about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Navadvipa. When Sri Nityananda was touring the sacred forests of Vraja at the age of 20 years, he knew that it was now time to join the preaching mission of Lord Gaurachandra, who had just recently begun his ecstatic manifestations of divine love. Therefore, he quickly returned to Bengal and met Sri Mahaprabhu at the house of Nandanacharya in Navadvipa. When Sri Nityananda Prabhu first came to Navadvip Dham, no one could understand who he was or where he had come from. No one could say whether he was a brahmachari, a grihastha, a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. People saw all these forms in him. At that time, many people came to criticize Nityananda Prabhu's divine character because he lived under no rules or regulations. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu's nature was to be an Avadhut. The ordinary idea of an Avadhut has been given in the Vaishnava Tantra. He appears to be internally like a Shakta, a worshipper of material energy. Externally, he appears like a follower of Lord Shiva but still participates in the assemblies of Vaishnavas and seems to appreciate Vaishnava thought. He does not care for any particular dress or follow any rules or regulations as he wanders throughout the world. But Nityananda Prabhu was fully transcendental and should never be confused with anyone mundane. His nature as an Avadhut can be understood in this way. In his heart, Anta is playing Radha Krishna, Shuddha Sakta, and his form externally, Bahi, is like Lord Shiva, Saiva. When he joins an assembly, his mentality is full that of a Vaishnava. When he is traveling, sometimes he wears cloth, sometimes he wears no cloth, sometimes he wears many gold ornaments, jewels, and rich garments, and sometimes he wears sannyasi dress. Really, Avadhut means one who is self controlled, who is not controlled by scriptural rules or regulations. Whatever he does, that is always right and perfect. He will do anything and everything, and is never to be considered wrong. If he is seen to be wrong externally in eyes of others, then that is also right. Nityananda Prabhu became known by everyone as Avadhut. Everyone called him Avadhut. The people even forgot that his name was Nityananda. They would say, "Oh, Avadhut is coming." Understanding that Nityananda Prabhu had arrived, Lord Chaitanya sent his devotees to him, and thus there was a meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. One day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited to Lord Nityananda Prabhu a six-armed form bearing a conch shell, disc, club, lotus flower, bow, and flute. Thereafter, the Lord showed him his four-armed form, standing in a three-curved posture. With two hands he played upon a flute, and in the other two he carried a conch shell and disc. Finally, the Lord showed Nityananda Prabhu his two-armed form of Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, simply playing on his flute, his bluish body dressed in yellow garments. Nityananda Prabhu then arranged to offer Vyasa Puja or worship of the spiritual master to Lord Sri Gaura Sundara, but Lord Chaitanya carried the plow-like weapon called Musra in the ecstasy of being Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda and Lord Gauranga enjoyed many preaching pastimes together. In one famous pastime, they delivered the two brothers, Jagai and Madhai. Jagai and Madhai were born in Navadvipa in a respectable family who later became addicted to all kinds of sinful activities. By the order of Lord Chaitanya, both Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur used to preach the cult of Krishna consciousness door to door. In the course of such preaching, they found Jagai and Madhai, two maddened, drunken brothers who, upon seeing them, began to chase them. On the next day, Madhai struck Nityananda Prabhu on the head with a piece of earthen pot, thus drawing blood. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard of this, he immediately came to the spot, ready to punish both brothers. But when the all-merciful Lord Gaurang saw Jagai's repentant behavior, he immediately embraced him. By seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face and embracing him, both the sinful brothers were at once cleansed. Thus they received initiation into the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the Lord and were delivered. After Sri Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life, Lord Nityananda accompanied him on a trip to Jagannath Puri. On the way, Nityananda detoured the Lord first through Shantipur to Sri Avadhuta Acharya. After taking sannyas, the Lord wanted to start for Vrindavan, and for 3 continuous days he traveled in the places where the Ganges does not flow. He was in full ecstasy over the idea of going to Vrindavana. However, Sri Nityananda diverted his path and brought him instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu in Shantipura. The Lord stayed at Sri Advaita Prabhu's house for a few days, and knowing well that the Lord was leaving his health and home for good, Sri Advaita Prabhu sent his men to Navadvipa to bring Mother Sachi to have a last meeting with his son. His mother met him at the house of Advaita Prabhu, and when she saw her son in sannyasa, she lamented. By way of compromise, she requested her son to make his headquarters in Puri so that she would easily be able to get information about him. The Lord granted this last desire of his beloved mother. After this incident, the Lord started for Puri, leaving all the residents of Navadvipa in an ocean of lamentation over his separation. After some time in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda Prabhu back to Bengal to get married. Bengal was known as Gauda Desa, and Lord Nityananda Prabhu overflooded this country with the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Once Gauranga with his companions came to a washerman who was beating the clothes upon a piece of plank. He asked the washerman to say Hari Bol. The washerman thought that the mendicants had come to beg alms from him. He said to Gaurang, "O mendicant, I am very poor. I have nothing to give you." Gaurang said, "I do not want anything from you. Say Hari Bol at least once." The washerman refused. He thought he would be required to pay something to the mendicant. He said, "I am very poor. I cannot give up the beating the cloth in order to utter the name you have given to me." Gaurang said, "I shall do the beating of the cloth. Please say Hari Bol." The washerman said, "Hari Bol." Then Gaurang asked him to repeat the same twice. The washerman repeated twice, then the fire of devotion started. The washerman repeated the name unasked. He began to dance in ecstasy, raising both his hands high. The wife of the washerman brought some food to the washerman. She saw her husband dancing with uplifted hands, uttering Hari Bol, Hari Bol. She also noticed that her husband had no consciousness of his surroundings. She tried to rouse him by calling him loudly, but in vain. She was frightened. She ran to the village and said to the relatives and neighbors, "A ghost has taken possession of my husband. Please help me. Drive away the ghost from him." They all proceeded immediately to see the washerman. He was still dancing in ecstasy. They were afraid to go near him. At last, a bold man caught hold of the washerman and tried to stop his dancing. He too caught the contagion and began to dance with the washerman, uttering Hari Bol, Hari Bol. He embraced the onlookers. They too caught the contagion and danced in ecstasy. The people of the whole village were affected. Gaurang enjoyed the scene for some time and left the place. At Puri, a miracle happened. During the car festival, the car of Jagannath did not move. All the pilgrims tried their combined strength. It proved futile. The gigantic elephants of the Raja of Puri also failed to move the car. All were in a stage of suspense and dilemma. Gauranga came just then. He pushed the car by his head and the car moved at once. All the pilgrims and devotees rent the air with the sound Haribol. In another instance, Vasudev was a humble, pious, and good natured Brahmin. He suffered from leprosy, a loathsome disease. He was forced to live apart from his friends and relatives on account of the abominable stench emitted by his body. He used to pick up the maggots that dropped from his balls and put them back in their place. Vasudev had extreme compassion and equal vision. He believed that all living creatures had an equal right to live and that he had no right to deprive them the worms of their natural food. What a magnanimous soul with a wonderful soul heart! Chaitanya, who was then passing along the road, heard the cry of Vasudev and ran towards the temple. He lifted the leper in his arms and embraced him, and the leprosy disappeared and the body became sound and beautiful. Vasudev said, O Lord, thou hast embraced me. All people fled from me due to the strength of my body. I came here to pay my respects to thee and see thy lotus feet. Certainly I did not come here with any idea of being healed. The loathsome malady taught me to be humble and compassionate and to remember the Lord at all times. But a healthy body will again generate pride and vanity, and I will forget the Lord. Chaitanya consoled him and said, O Vasudeva, my child, you have the grace of Lord Krishna. You will never again be pulled up with the vanity and pride. Lord Krishna has already accepted you on account of your extreme humility and compassion towards all living creatures and even to those worms which fed on your body. Repeat Lord Krishna's name and save men by making them also repeat Krishna's name. Pandit Sribas was a sincere devotee of Gaurang. The first Kirtan party was formed in the courtyard of Sribas' house. It was there that the Kirtan was usually held. Chaitanya Bhagavat was written by Sribas' grandson in his house. There was a grand Kirtan in the house of Sribas one night. Gaurang and the Bhaktas were dancing in great joy. Now a maidservant entered the courtyard and made a sign to Sribas to follow her. Sribas left the Kirtan and went inside the house. Sribas' only son was seriously ailing from cholera. Sribas saw now that his son was in a dying condition. His wife was weeping. Sribas told her, Do not weep, this will disturb the joy of our Lord. It is a great fortune that our son is dying when Hari's Kirtan is being done in the house. In a few minutes, the soul of the boy left the body. Sribas joined in the Kirtan and danced in joy. He was not a bit affected. The matter could not be kept secret for a long time. Anyhow, it reached the ears of a Kirtanist. He stopped the Kirtan. Another heard the news. He also stopped the Kirtan and wanted to see the condition of Sribas. Gradually, the Kirtanists stopped one by one. Gaurang also stopped the Kirtan and said, How is it that I do not experience much joy today? Has anything serious happened today? He looked at Sribas with a pained heart. Sribas replied, Can I have any danger when the Lord is doing Kirtan in my house? Another devotee said, It is true, my Lord. A great calamity has occurred. Pandit Sribas' son is dead. Chaitanya said, His son dead? When? The devotee replied, He died some 6 or 7 hours ago. Chaitanya burst into tears. He said, Sribas, bring the child before me. The body of the child was brought before Gaurang in the courtyard. Gaurang addressed the dead child and commanded him to speak. The boy spoke, I am leaving this body for a better existence. O Lord, may my soul cling to thy lotus feet. The soul again left the body of the child. Gaurang then said to Sribas and his wife Malini, I and Nityanand will take the place of a departed child. Be not troubled, be not anxious. What a large and sympathetic heart Gaurang had. The followers of Chaitanya regard Chaitanya as a 6-handed divinity. It is said that he showed his form with 6 hands to Sarvabhauma, Ramananda Ray and Nitai, the first 2 hands provided with bow and arrow. the second two with a flute in the act of playing upon it, and the last two with danda and kamandalu, staff and pot. By this manifestation, Chaitanya made Nitai understand that he was Rama as well as Krishna. When Gauranga was in a fit of devotional ecstasy, he jumped into the blue sea at Puri. He imagined that the blue sea was the Yamuna. He wanted to join in the frolics of the gopis of Vrindavan. As his body was in an emaciated condition owing to constant fasts and vigils, it floated on the water and fell into the net of a fisherman. It was night. The fisherman was extremely glad as he felt that the net was very heavy. He thought that he had caught a big fish. He dragged the net to the shore with difficulty. He found in the net a human corpse instead of a big fish. He was disappointed. The corpse made a faint sound. The fisherman took it for a ghost or goblin. He was greatly frightened. He slowly walked along the shore with trembling feet. Swarupa and Ramananda, who were searching for the master from sunset, met the fisherman. Swarupa asked him if he had seen Gaurang Deva anywhere. The fisherman narrated his story. Then Swarupa and Ramananda hurried to the place where the net was lying. They removed their master from the net and placed him on the ground. They sang the name of Hari loudly. Gaurang came back to consciousness. Lord Gaurang said, "Listen, Swarupa and Ramananda Raj. The chanting of Krishna's name is the chief means of attaining Krishna's feet in the Kali Yuga. Sankirtan of the name is the supreme healer in the Iron Age. Sankirtan tantamount to Vedic sacrifice. Sankirtan destroys sins and purifies the heart and creates bhakti. Chant the name while sitting, standing, walking, eating, in bed and everywhere. The name is omnipotent. You can repeat the name at any place, at any time."